We are here to talk about the Test Evaluation Logging and Analysis Tool, or TLAB, formerly known as Project Scribe. This is Ryan Barrett, he is our team leader, Calvin Tang, Calvin Cameron, Kyle Pfeiffer, all developers. I'm myself from Coding at East, I was the team Scrum Master. The first question that we need to ask is, what is TLAB? TLAB is a tool that assists in the evaluation, logging, and analysis of test data. This test data is provided in a sort file, which is a system operational readiness test. The system operational readiness test consists of a list of test steps that are broken into sections, subsections, larger stages. They can be filtered by a variant. So if the sort file is pertaining to a submarine, then the variant would be a specific model of a submarine, for example. In addition to this, they can be evaluated as passed, failed, or not tested. Finally, each test step can contain a comment. So if a test step was evaluated in a certain way, the comment will allow the user to explain why they made that decision. To provide some context for what a system operational readiness test is, we prepared a more simple explanation, something that more people are familiar with, such as a house inspection. So some major sections of a test, if you were inspecting a house, would be structural integrity, the electrical systems, and then the plumbing. So if you were inspecting a house, you would want to make sure that the house was in good condition, foundation-wise, what you could see anyway. If you were looking at the electrical, you would want to make sure all the lights and switches were working. You'd want to make sure the wires were in good condition. If you were looking at the plumbing, you would want to make sure none of the pipes were leaking or the water heater was rusting. So these are essentially a checklist, which is the best way to summarize a system operational readiness test. So this is a more formalized system operational readiness test. As you can see, we color-coded it. In red is the stage, which is the highest level of organization. Below this, in orange, is the header. It represents a section. There is also a subsection, which is listed in yellow. The test steps themselves, which would be the core of the checklist, are represented in green. To the right of that, there is a field where the user would enter whether the step is passed, failed, or not tested. And to the right of that, there's a comment area. Finally, the variant is to the right of these. This is how our system, TLAB, represents a system operational readiness test. As you can see, we have the general subheader at the top, the main section. Below this, we have the subheader, The test steps are also listed, and each has a drop-down arrow where the user can define them as passed, failed, or not tested. When a user makes a selection, a comment box will appear and allow them to enter why they made this decision. The CC log is one of the various tools provided by TLAB. The CC log is concerned with is event logging. If something happens during a test evaluation, you want to be able to record what happened. So when the user enters CC log, it will automatically generate a timestamp that says when the event happened. In addition to this, the user can provide general information. They can provide the amount of time it took to recover from this event. In addition, they can provide the actions taken to fix it. Also, problem reporting is supported by the CC log. So if a problem comes up that wouldn't quite be described as an event, they can enter that here. For the problem reports, there's also data that's entered. The number of times that they tried to fix the event, the number the number of successful attempts to fix it, and whether the event is something that's new, never before seen, or something that's been recurring for some time. The CC log also allows users to view a list of all events. This list is from most recently created to least recently created. So when a user enters a new event and they want to see a list of all current events, the new one will appear right at the top for their convenience. TLAB also supports timekeeping. This is through shift entry. Shift entry allows the user to define the number of shifts, the duration of a shift, and in addition to this, for each shift, they can say personnel associated with the shift, in addition to the test director for that shift, start time and the end time. For high-level administrative data concerning a sort, the user can go to the executive summary. The executive summary allows them to define the name of the test, the location the test is taking place at, the start time, like a general day, and then the end time. In addition to this, they can provide system information, any discrepancies that might exist within the system that they want to know, and version numbers of the system or item that they are testing. The count section is concerned with providing general metrics about how the checklist was evaluated. So they can see the number of steps that are associated with a given stage. They can see the number of these that were considered passed, failed, and not tested. In addition, it will calculate percentages. So in addition to this also, it will provide the number of steps across all of the stages. So if you want to see the number of steps in the complete test, in the complete checklist, this is provided. Finally, count extends to the CC log. It will provide the number of events, the number of problem reports, and other similar information as stated by the CC log. To briefly talk about the development process, we made use of Scrum, which is an agile methodology. We had 2-week sprints. We met a minimum of 2 times a week as a formal Scrum meeting. We tried to have 3, which is what we generally did have. We met with our client, Cassandra, on a weekly basis. In addition to this, we have extensive documentation and reports that we use to formalize everything that we've done. The tools that we used to implement TWAP were Java primarily. It was coded and implemented in Java. We made use of Java FX to create our GUI. Scene Builder was the tool that enabled us to do this. We used Apache's POI libraries in order to interface Java with the sort file, which is an Excel format. We also made use of HTML to implement a help menu. We used CSS and Bootstrap to do this. We made use of Git for our version control. We used GitHub as a repository, and we used Google Drive in order to store all of our documentation. We also extensively tested TWAP. We made use of a formalized bug list, which we have maintained since we started. In addition to this, we've written several test cases. We've evaluated the test cases. We've made use of acceptance testing, integration testing, and regression testing. Finally, we made use of JUnit 4 as our unit testing platform. Now I'm going to hand it over to Violet, who is going to discuss a demonstration of TWAP.
Hello everyone. I'm going to stand over here so that you can see the application better. We're going to begin with loading a test file. Alvin over there is going to act as our tester. And as you can see, it has brought up the file chooser and the test has been loaded. Now, we're required to select a variant. So please select whichever variant you would like. All right, the Camry. And as you can see here at the top, all of the test steps have been loaded. This is here the section header for the current section of test steps. Here is the actual test step and then the instructions related to it. The drop-down menu here allows the user to log the result of the test, whether it passed, failed, or was not tested. So please choose whichever you would like. All right, so this test passed, and as you can see, a text box appeared up here, which allows the user to enter in more information about the outcome of that, any additional notes. Now let's move on to the next test step. I think this one failed. All right. So Alvin, please try to scroll down to the bottom and go to the next page. Alvin's been stopped. And that is because one of our requirements was that whenever a test failed, reasons for that failure had to be logged here in the comment box. So there's our comment, and we can scroll down and see all the other test steps. You can scroll between 1, 5, and 10 pages at a time. Also, at the top, there is a feature under 5 that allows you to switch directly to a given section that you would like to view. And now let's let's show them one of our tools. So please go to View. Why don't we show them the CC log? So the CC log, as Cody mentioned previously, is where any sort of events that occur during a given test are logged. So let's create a new event. And as you can see, a timestamp is automatically placed in the first text field when we created this event. There are several sections, the first of which is the general info, which contains date and time, recovery, any actions, and the system subsystems, as well as the second section, which includes functions, subfunctions, and other related information. The third section here is the TLAM counts, which includes the type, the number attempted, number successful, and last but not least, the PR summary, which also includes type, number of successful, and other such information. At the bottom here, we can enter in a comment about the event, and let's save our progress. Another option here in the CC log is to scroll through all the events that happen. So under Edit/View, we can see the event we just added appears here at the top. They are populated on the screen in chronological order from the most recent to the oldest, which you can all scroll through all of them here, 1, 5, and 10 pages at a time once again. Through each event. All right, Alvin, let's go to another tool. How about the counts? So the counts allows for displaying various metrics about all the information entered into the application. Let's populate that. All right, so now this is populated at the top with information regarding the currently selected stage, which is the current page in the Excel test file. And as you can see, there's percentages related to that, the number of test steps passed, failed, and not tested. The overview section allows a quick summary of metrics about all of the test steps and all of the pages, not just the currently selected one. And here at the bottom, we have metrics about the CC log as well. So this is easy for a user to just get a quick glance about data related to the project. So let's go to another tool. Let's go to Executive Summary. Now, this tool allows for an overview of the test information such as the test name, the shift length, dates, location, and any known discrepancies with the system can be recorded here. If the user chooses to record such information, they also have a text box here to enter in additional information about the discrepancies, as well as version information, version numbers, and additional text fields will be populated here when this button is clicked to enter in any other information about systems and other such information. All right, let's go to another tool. Shift entry. This allows for all of the shift information to be logged. The shift times, the personnel involved at the bottom here. So all the information that was in the Excel file was loaded here and populated in these text fields. The start time, the stop time, the test director, and all of the personnel. This allows for accountability. If, say, an event occurs during a test, say they're testing a submarine and there's a system failure, the power goes out. If any supervisors want to inquire about any additional information, there's a record here of which tester was present during that time. All right, so let's go to view mode. All right, and in view mode, the user is able to view all of the test steps, but as you can see, all the text boxes are not editable in this mode. It also allows for the test file to be exported to a CSV file, and as you can see at the bottom, you can still scroll through it 1, 5, or 10 pages at a time. Let's go to edit mode. So this is for a test director to edit all of the test steps and save that information. As you can see, it is password protected. The password is encrypted, by the way. So let's log in there and load our test file that we would like to change. And now all of these text fields have become editable. So please make any sort of change. All right, so we've changed the topic, the section, and this here is related to, indicates which test steps are related to which variants. And the view is very similar to the test steps mode and the view mode. And in addition to all of this, we also included a help menu for seasoned users who perhaps need a refresher on different uses of the application, or new users who aren't familiar with it. There is a quick start guide here which gives a short summary of how to simply enter in test steps and record the results of those tests, as well as there's also links to all of the other sections and screenshots to help as well. So this concludes our demonstration. I'm going to hand it back to Cody.
Does anybody have any questions?